What's up? It's Ballistic, Ballistic Beats, BLysticProductions.com, and today I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about this new Apple revolutionary, crazy, best ever. It probably is the best ever. I was kind of exaggerating, doing the exaggeration thing, but I think this MacBook is one of the best ever. Period. But no, in all seriousness, I picked up one of the new MacBook Airs with the Apple Silicon M1 chip, and it is nothing short of amazing. Like, compared to all the computers that I've used and owned before, it's in a league of its own, like for real. So as you've probably seen, Apple is gonna start using their own silicon or like processors in their computers, and they pretty much use the technology that they use in the iPhones and the iPad Pros in their MacBooks now, and probably every other computer that they make moving forward. So the performance it went from not right here to here, but it went like leagues beyond everything that's currently available. So now you can actually have even the MacBook Air, which I'll explain why I picked this one in a few, but you can get a MacBook Air like this and it really performs as well as maybe a slight difference. And I've seen tests that some of the MacBook Airs are performing a little bit better than the i9 like 16-inch MacBooks from a few years or a year or two ago. And the i9 16-inch MacBook is a little bit better, and I really mean a little bit better than the MacBook Air and Pro that was just released with the M1 chip. And even just being able to keep up with that computer is enough on its own to be like, it's enough to get excited about, in a nutshell. Pretty much, I'm not about to do any benchmarks or any of that. I just want to talk about why I got it and my experience with it so far. Pretty much the only downsides right now is all the app developers have to optimize their apps to work with the M1 chip and everything. So right now, Apple has optimized, of course, like Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro, and that works really good and super snappy and everything. So all the older Macs are running off of the x86 platform with Intel chips like the i5, i3s, i5s, i7s, i9s, and all of that. So the code is a little bit different than the M1 chips that they have now, but they did develop a software called Rosetta 2 that pretty much translate that Intel language into the M1 language. And so far from my experience, you can't really tell a difference. The apps that I tested with that, Adobe is working on like a native version of their apps for the M1, and that's supposed to come in like 2021. But right now, I put the whole Adobe Creative Cloud on this, and it's running probably better than my i9 desktop gaming build and my Razer Blade 15. And that's saying a lot, because it's running as well as or a little bit better than those computers, and it's been translated by Rosetta 2, which means in 2021, when they actually put out the optimized versions, that is gonna be like even crazier. The things that I like most about this are the size. Of course, it's nothing new. It's the same body as the old MacBook Airs, but compare that to the 15, and that is quite a big difference, especially if you're trying to go somewhere and you want to throw it in your bag. And so you got to have like a 15-inch to get that power before, or 16, and the charger. And that'll weigh you down a lot, especially like say you do content creation and you got a camera in your bag and other chargers and hard drives and lenses and all that, and it can really like take a toll on you. But with this, I probably still will take the charger, because the charger is actually a smaller size or whatever. It's like the size of an iPad charger. but the battery, they say it lasts like 18 hours for the Air, and the MacBook Pro even has 20 hours, but you really can get that. A lot, like the Razer said it lasts 8 or 10 hours or whatever, and it doesn't. Like my Razer Blade 15 is dead. If I take it off the charger and do anything on it, even just watching YouTube, after like 2 hours, it's probably at 10% or something, and the fans are going crazy and everything. With this, the Air doesn't even have a fan, and it's blowing other stuff out the water. So it's ridiculously crazy for real. This one in particular, I got the 512 version, so it has 8 CPU cores, 8 GPU cores, and they really like maximize what you get out of it. It's only 8 gigs of RAM too. My other computers, both of them have 32 gigs of RAM, and you can't tell a difference with this. You can open up multiple things, run videos, work in Photoshop with layers and layers and different brushes and LUTs and everything, and it does what it needs to do. Lightroom's the same way. You can open up a big file with like 500 pictures, full quality, and scroll down. If you're familiar with Lightroom, you know sometimes the previews have to generate and it might be blank for a second and then load up, and with that it just loads up, like it's ready when you get to it. All that being said, let's get to the music production. I put FL Studio on mine and Ableton. I started making a beat in FL Studio, and after adding a few like native plugins like Citrix and Harmor and all that kind of stuff, it actually did start to stutter way before I would have assumed that it should. So that was kind of a bummer, but I didn't really get it for that. I still do have other computers, as I said, so it's not a big deal. But even on ImageLine's site, they pretty much just tell you straight up like, no, it doesn't work on there, but you can put it on there. It does a little bit, and you can get by with it, especially if you're using like splice loops or external instruments and things like that in your own samples. So I think it'll handle that pretty good. Ableton, it seems to do a lot better. I didn't finish a full thing with Ableton, but it did enough, so I'm pretty confident in it, and they're working on a native version too. I didn't get Logic, the full version, yet. I'm thinking about it, but I do have Ableton already, and I've been wanting to do more in that, so I may not. But then again, with the power of this, it might be a reason to go on and pick up Logic. It ain't but $200, so why not? The big thing about this, a lot of people are saying that they're gonna hold off because it's first gen, and it's like Apple kind of threw it out there to test it out or whatever and see what people think. For general consumers and everything, it's ready. I think like most people web browsing, doing spreadsheets and all that, it's gonna like blow their mind, and they won't have anything negative to say about it. As far as music production for creators, video editors, all that kind of stuff, the same. The only downside right now is the fact that a lot of apps that we use aren't ready yet. I don't even really think that the reason they're not ready is because of the M1 ARM chip or whatever. I think that a lot of the compatibility issues are just because they come with Big Sur, and Big Sur ain't ready for even people that have Intel MacBooks. So once they get their Big Sur compatibility going, I believe that Rosetta 2 will actually handle all those plugins and drivers for the Apollos and everything that you might need the way that it should. But yeah, apologies, because I kind of like, I didn't script this or nothing. I'm just, of course, I mean, I know you can tell. I'm just going off the top of my head and just giving my first initial thoughts. I've been messing with it for a couple days now. So yeah, if you want to ask a question in the comments, make sure you subscribe first. Subscribe, then hit the comments and ask away. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can do real world tests to let the music producer community know how the M1 chips are doing right now and maybe what's to come. If you search for them, a lot of people have them. A lot of the tech people that had it early, and they're doing the same benchmarks and this and that, and all the videos are pretty much the same. I don't know why I watched a lot of them, but they're all pretty much the same. I actually want to do something specific to us that's messing with music, so just let me know what y'all want to see, and I'll be back with that maybe before Thanksgiving, maybe right after, but I'll definitely be making some more stuff. So y'all enjoy your holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. We all got a lot to be thankful for. It's a lot going on, and we still here, so that's the biggest thing to be thankful for. So yeah, till next time, hold it down.